So in today's video, we are going to carry on working on our island game. In the previous video, I believe we worked on hitting one of the trees and actually chopping it down. Well, not chopping it down, but destroying it, as well as making it look like it falls into pieces. So whenever you chop down the tree, when the health has reached 0, we then go and spawn in a number of logs that will, or at the moment they are just, I think, plain cylinders that we made, but eventually we'll replace them with actual logs that look like trees, and then maybe add some like leaves and stuff in it, so that it looks like the tree is actually falling down. But I thought that in today's video, just because when we actually hit the tree at the moment, nothing is happening. So I was thinking we could either do one of two things, or maybe even do it both of them. But those were to, when we go and hit the tree, we either want to play a sound so that it sounds like we're actually hitting something. And we also want to make the tree move a little bit so that it looks like it's been hit. But not only that, later on, like way further down the line, we actually are going to make an animation for the character so that it looks like when you hit the tree, the character is actually hitting the tree. So eventually we'll add some tools that the character can actually use, or you can use to control the player. And we will make it look like when you've got one of the tools in your hand, only then you can go and hit the tree. So we'll make it look like you're actually like hitting the tree like that, kind of. So we'll do that later on, but that's way further down the line, so we'll forget about that for today. So in today's video, we're just going to go and implement that sound. So when we go and press the mouse button, or one of your mouse buttons, we are going to play a one-shot sound, making it sound like you're hitting the tree. And then depending on how far we get with that, hopefully it works quickly. We'll see later on what we can do later. So let's jump into it and let's get started. So I have imported a sound, and this sound I believe I got from freesounds.org. freesounds.org. You have to log in, but it is totally free. I don't know if you can use them in like projects that you eventually release, make money off, unless you have like certain licenses or stuff. But for this game is never going to be released. It's just like a learning game. So we're going to use it in today's episode, and this is what it sounds like. So it's just a simple hit sound. It's not the best, but it's the best one I could find on the website. So if you have something better, go ahead and use that. But that's what we're going to be using in today's episode. So we now need to go and find the script that we use to go and program this so that it looks like, or not looks, but it sounds like we're actually hitting the tree. So in our scripts, I'm guessing it's going to be done in the cut tree script. So in the script here, when we go and hit an object, if it's the tree, then we go minus some health from, minus some hit power, or minus the hit power from the health, which eventually leads to our tree being cut down or destroyed. So in here, this is where we are going to go and play the sound. So we can make actually, how are we going to do this? Because we're going to need a audio manager, probably. So let's create an audio manager, create empty, and then let's just say audio manager. I think I haven't done anything with audio or sound in a long time, so this could take a while. So let's go and let's type in audio and see what comes up. So I definitely need an audio source, so that's fine. And then on I'm thinking we should probably do it on our player maybe, because then we don't have to add actually, what script is this attached to? I think it's attached to our player. Where's our player? Here. So our player has cut tree. Yeah, it's attached to our player. So yeah, we can just do that. Let's just use this one. So on here, we can go and say serialized field. This is going to be an audio source. Audio, actually we need an audio clip, so we'll type an audio clip, and this is going to be hit sound, hit sound. And then we'll do the exact same thing, but we will, not 3, just 2. We need, what am I doing? Okay, so this needs to be audio clip. This needs to be hit sound. And then the next one needs to be an audio source. And then this needs to be audio source. So we can just, we can go back in here and just drag them in. So they should pop up in here, wherever it is. There it is. So we can drag in our hit sound, which is in my sounds folder. So I can drag that into there. It has to be an MP3, I believe, so that does work. And then our audio manager, we can drag in to here. So that should be fine. So that's going to take the audio manager off of that script. I mean the audio source off of that audio manager. So that should be fine. Now we need to create a method here that's going to play that sound. So we can go and just say public. We'll make it private for now, just because we don't really need it anywhere else. So if we do, we'll change it later. So public void play sound. So we'll say play sound, and then inside we will pass in an audio clip, just so that we can reuse this later down the line. So this is going to be clip, and then that's, what am I doing? I can't type today. Okay, so in here, all we're going to go and say is audio source dot play one shot, and then we'll pass in the clip, which is going to be clip. So that should be fine. That's all we need to do, I think. And then when we go and hit the tree, we can go and say play sound, hit sound. So we probably don't need this, but later on when we introduce more sounds, we probably will. So we'll leave it like that for now, even though we're technically making it a lot longer. We could just say audio source to play one shot and then pass in the hit sound straight over here. But we'll leave it like that for now, and then later on when we introduce more sounds for the game, we can change it up. So let's go play the game and see if we actually get if anything happens. So let's see, let's just go out here quick and see what that is. Okay, object reference not set into instance. Okay, so don't think that's a problem for now, but let's go and test this out. So if we go to here and hit the tree, you can see now that we can hit the tree and we actually get some sound. So I mean, it's not the best sound, but it works. We can now hit our tree. We can't hit this one apparently. There we go. That one's hit. We can destroy this one. There we go. All the blocks fall. The logs fall. They're kind of weird because that should not be happening. I don't know why that's happening, but we will deal with that much later. You can see some of them floating off or sinking in the ocean. So that's fine. The next thing we will probably have to do at some stage is try and make an inventory, because when you break down these trees and you actually get these logs that you can eventually pick up, we want to store them somewhere, and we're going to need to have an inventory for that so that we can actually store a few items at once on you. So technically it'll be like you have a backpack on, which is kind of cool. We could make it so that we only have an inventory when you find a backpack. So we could make it like, we could have some washed up trash that's on some of the beaches later on, and then also add in a backpack somewhere on one of the beaches, and when you find that backpack and you pick it up, only then do you have an inventory, which kind of makes sense because you don't want to store random stuff on you without a backpack or some place to store them. So we'll probably do that later on, and then yeah, as soon as we get that done, while our inventory, we can start working on. We can start working on things like being able to pick up different materials as well as using those materials to make things, which is going to be a lot more complicated. but we shall take it one step at a time and see how far we can get. So we also what we can do when we destroy these, we can also, because these trees here have got coconuts on them, we could drop some coconuts, and that could act as a food source for the player. So let's go and do something now. So I want to, just because we have a bit of time and I didn't really plan anything else, I'm going to go and implement a pause feature. So we want to be able to pause the game and have some sort of menu system. So let's go and work on pausing the game. So let's go to, do we have a game manager script? We don't. So let's create a game manager script, and this script is going to be responsible for handling things like pausing the game, loading a new game if you want, and then what am I doing? Let's just go and open that up. Why can't I open that? Okay, so in here, or in our global class here, we can, first of all, we can go and say public static boolean is paused. And whenever we pause our game, we're going to set this equal to true. So we'll set this to be false right now, because when the game starts, we don't want the game to be paused. So as long as our game is not paused, we can go and move around. So let's see, where is our first person controller? So in here, where do we access our, because I didn't write this, I downloaded this off the Unity asset store, it's quite complicated. I don't really know what everything does in here, but it seems to be working. We have some nice movement. So let's see, awake, start, no, let's see, update, control camera movement, and then let's see, update, enable zoom, enable sprint. That's to do with jump. I didn't even know you can't play a jump. Enable crouch, enable head bob. Okay, so all of that technically needs to be in an if statement. So we can go and add in an if statement here, and all the way at the top, where is it, update here. So here we can go and say if global dot is paused, or rather if it's not paused, then we can go ahead and do whatever is in this or in our update method. So we can go and test that out and see. That should only affect our movement. So wait. So let's save that and see. Actually, let's see, player can move. That's not going to affect the movement, because in our fixed update, this is where we handle our movement. So we have to go and do the same thing here. So let's go and say if global dot is paused, or this needs to be is not paused, then let's see, where is it? Then we can go and not do anything. So let's test that out, and then let's go and see if it works. So check ground, jump, crouch. I believe all of these have been called from the update method, so that should work. Now that's only going to affect the movement, I believe, so everything else in the game is not going to look like it's been paused. So we'll handle that later on. We could just simply pause the entire game, and also we have no way of pausing the game right now, so let's go and deal with that. So this we can handle in our game manager. So in our update method, we can go and say if input dot, what is it, key, how do we check for input again? I can't remember. Input dot get, yeah, input dot get mouse button, no. Input dot get button down, and then it's going to be key code dot, let's say escape for now. So whenever we press our escape button, whenever we get our escape button, we can go and say global dot is pause is equal to true. But now this is giving us an error. keycode dot f dot escape. Let's try that. I don't know if that's going to work, but let's see if that works. And that should be able to, we should be able to pause the game, so we can move around in the game. As soon as we press escape, nothing happens. Let's try a different key just to make sure this is actually working. Let's go and say keycode dot space, maybe. Get button down space. No. How do we use, I can't remember how to use that. I haven't done it in a long time. Unity get escape key. Get key. Did we do that? Yeah, that's what it is. Get key down. Let's try that. Get key, not hey, get key down, and this needs to be key code dot escape. There was key code dot pause there. I don't know what that does. Maybe we should look that up. Maybe that's what we should be using. But I'll look that up and see what that does. So we can control our player, and now as soon as we, okay, that doesn't work at all. Did we save it? Oh, maybe it's not in our, let's create an empty game manager. That's probably why, because I don't think it's in our scene yet. So attach the game manager onto there, and then let's go and test it out. That should now pause our game. So if we press escape, there we go. You can see our game is now paused, but we don't have any way of unpause or getting back to the game state. So let's do that quick. How do we want to do this? It's probably better to, let's just do this. Let's create a canvas. Oh, actually, we have a canvas here. And then on this canvas, let's create a panel. And this is going to be our game paused panel. And now on this, where is our scene? On this panel, what am I doing? So on this panel, we need to add a button. So actually, let's go and add text in first. So text, let's import the text mesh pro stuff. So we're not going to make this button work today. We'll do that in the next episode, probably. So on our text, let's make this much bigger. This is going to be like 200 maybe. Bold, we'll center it. And then we only want it to be one line. Okay, so that's fine. Now, we need to make it bigger, so let's zoom into it. Let's drag this out like that. You'd probably just make it like that. And then we'll put it in the middle. So here we'll just say game paused for now. That should be fine. For our panel, let's go and change the color to black, but then we don't want it to be like solid black. We want it to be kind of like a tinted color. So this is what it's going to look like. So when we go and disable it, or when the game is paused, it's going to look like that. And then when we unpause it and play the game, it's going to look like this. So that's fine. You can see you've got like a darkish, kind of transparent black background. So that's fine. So let's go and finish this. So on our scene, now let's go and add a button onto it. So where is our button? Why does it always have to be so small? Also, this is not going to look the best because this is just a quick fix. So this is going to be resume, and then we can make this bigger. So about, let's say about 75 maybe. Make it bold. Why not? Enable, disable, or enabled. Disable, because we only want it to be one line. And then let's change the color of the button. So we can make the text white, and then we'll darken the button out a little bit. So normal color, where you want it to be Like a darkish green maybe. No, that looks terrible. Let's just do something like that. What does that look like? I mean, that looks terrible, but we will keep it like that for now. Okay, so that, I mean, that doesn't look the best, but it's fine for now. So here, let's just change the name of this to resume button. Copy and paste it. And then this one we can change to main menu button. And then let's change the text to it, text on it to main menu. Why do I keep spelling menu like that? Okay, so that's fine. We also need to get rid of this cross here once our pause game panel is shown. So whenever we show this panel, we can go and disable our aim point, well, both our aim points, because it's not a cross, it's just two vertical lines stacked on top of each other. So we'll do that in tomorrow's episode. But for now, let's go and shift this down a bit. So we'll move our menu button down like that, and that should be fine. So that handles our game or paused screen. So if we disable that, that's what our game paused menu is going to look like. We'll have the ability to resume our game, go back to the main menu, possibly save it, as well as just quit the save and quit. So you can just, instead of having to save and then go to the main menu and then go out of the game, we'll implement a method that saves the game for you as well as closes the entire game, if we can. Because I don't know how to do that, but we'll figure it out. So that's what we will do. Well, we won't do that in the next episode, but in the next episode we'll start working on getting the resume button working, and then possibly starting, I think I might want to try and implement the shake to the tree when you hit it. So you also, when you go and hit the tree, you also have a shake as well as the sound, because that will add, it will make the game a lot better, just make it look and sound a lot better instead of just having a static tree that just does nothing. So we'll do that in tomorrow's episode. Well, when I say do that, I mean we will try and do that in tomorrow's episode. But yeah, that's it for today's episode. So thanks for watching. If you've made this far, please go ahead and like the video and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so. And I'll see you guys in tomorrow's episode when we carry on with our trees. So goodbye and thanks for watching again. Bye.